So I want to ask you guys, aside from the fact that new album, all these new songs, super cool jackets in all the pictures that I really need to talk to you about. We're in kind of a crazy time. So what have you guys been trying to do the most to kind of feel normal? What have you guys been doing every day?
Well, you know what's really strange is it literally feels no less busy than it did before. When we've got the album coming out, I mean, we were in Nashville for 5-6 weeks, David.
Yeah.
Recording the album, and then we got home. Then Nashville got hit with a tornado. Then COVID broke out, and then we were still in sort of album mode. So, like, we've been recording every day. We've been playing music together every day. We talk every couple of hours. It feels like, band-wise, it's busier than it's ever been. It's just you don't have that road component of like waking up and going to the airport, or
you can do it in your pajamas.
That's it. Okay, wear moccasins, and not boots.
Yeah.
But I think that I've been trying to get out as much as I can. I'm fortunate enough that the mountains are right outside the door, and so I try to get out and spend some time in the sunshine. And it's been really beautiful out west right now, so trying to take advantage of that as much as I can. My wife jokes that I spent more time in a hotel room with David in the last year than I did at home in our room. When we counted it up.
Yeah.
So that part is strange because we haven't been away from each other this long in maybe 4 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just that physical connection. I mean, we can not see each other for an hour, and we'll see each other and we'll hug each other just to say hi again. But that's been really tough, just that physical connection. And thankfully we get to talk every day again and see each other on video. But yeah, I really miss that actual physical hug where you say hi to somebody and properly say hi. And
I know, I really miss hugs.
Yeah, me too. I've been thankfully we were having an absolutely wonderful spring out on the West Coast.
Good.
So, every morning I've been sitting on my front stoop, which is something they don't do a lot here. In Toronto and Ontario, they do tons of it.
Yeah.
But I've been sitting on my front stoop eating breakfast and talking to every single neighbor I see that's either jogging by or walking their dog, and they stop and have a chat. And I'm meeting a whole bunch of new neighbors that I normally wouldn't have probably met.
Yeah.
Just stopping and slowing down. So I tried to take the lesson of, hey, maybe this is a reset. Maybe this is something you can stop and slow down and change something you do in your life to do differently. And that simple thing I decided to do, and it's been really cool.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, that I find even just walking the dogs, a lot of people have their headphones in when they're walking and they're kind of on their own mission. And now people are so much more apt to be like, hey, how are you doing? Like checking in on total strangers, just because you know that person is probably feeling very similar to the way you are, going through similar things, which has never happened in our world, like with our time ever. It's so crazy.
Yeah, one thing I've been doing to remember people's names is I've been associating them with people in the music business, so that I can actually remember everybody's name. So it's really funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So congrats on everything with Country Thunder. It was cool to see where that song went for you guys. But now you have come up with another song, Doc Rock. So tell me a little bit about that one. On like, you guys wrote on it, but when you went in to do that one, what was the mindset of writing that song?
We wrote that song with our buddy Togs, who's one of the producers on this record. And we just walked in the room, and I think we were all just feeling like we needed a summer song that day. It was in the middle of winter in Nashville. And now, granted, Nashville's not that cold in the middle of winter.
So it was 70.
It's actually a heat wave.
I think we were kind of like longing for summer. It was, deep in winter. And I think we were just kind of thinking about all that great feeling. I mean, we grew up around lakes and cottages and docks and all that. So when you start throwing around a few lines like, pumping wattage through the cottage and that fish in disposition, I think it just started to write itself. And as we started kind of messing around with it, it was like, you know what, let's just do this. It's going to be a fun song to write. And it was just a blast. And our producer, Togs, was just so into it too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think Togs was into it too, because he's obviously spent a lot of time in Southern Ontario, as you are from, Shannon. So you know the cottage culture there is pretty rich and pretty deep, and that image of having that dock party is something that's ingrained in most people's minds down there.
Yeah, and I think right now, even though we're not able to have any dock parties in this moment, I feel like that we need a song like that to even just dance on our back porch and pretend like we're on the dock having a party.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, we need that right now.
Totally. And Meters Apart just didn't work in any of the verses, so
You might have to rewrite that one just for the time being.
Yeah.
So Everbound, obviously you guys, I know I talked to you earlier in the year when you guys were just finalizing the list of songs for the album and starting to go back into the studio in Nashville to keep working on it and get it done. You know, the last album you guys put out, obviously huge one, Juno win after that one was out. What did you guys feel going into making this one? Because I know a lot of people I've talked to have said, you know, when you have an album that does really well and, you know, a lot of success of it, you know, sometimes you feel a little bit more pressure going into the next one. Did you guys feel that?
You know, I don't think we put that pressure on ourselves when you're writing the songs. Yeah, I mean, it would just kind of, if you're thinking about the future when you're in the middle of writing a song, you're not really in the moment, and that's, to us, one of the secrets is just be really in the moment when you're writing a song. And we write songs first and foremost for things that we like and we love and we gravitate to. So you're not really thinking about how the song's going to do. You just, you know, if you like it yourself. So on this album, it was great because this album had a real positive, fun vibe to it. We'd come out of a write and we'd all be whistling or humming the melody of the song, and Chris would wake up in the middle of the night and start working on lyrics again. And so it was nonstop, and it was such a great, fun feeling. So I don't think we put that weight on us about, is this going to work or is it going to be successful? We just write songs that we love. And thankfully we're with a record label that gives us all the freedom in the world. I always say the story when the president of Warner Music comes up to you and says, "This is your record. You guys decide what goes on here." That's pretty freeing. It comes with a lot of responsibility at the same time, but it's really, really freeing. And it's great when your label does that. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I think that's kudos to you guys to, you know, also know who you are as a band and what you want to say, because when, you know, your record label president comes to you and says that, you guys are like, all right, well, you know, we know which lane we want to go down. It's not like, what are we going to do? You know, what should we sing about? You guys, you have a style, you have stuff that you know you love and you love singing about, and you know your fans love hearing too. So it's cool to see. I love looking at comments when you guys announce an album or put out a song of your fans being like, "Oh, this is the one I always wanted." And you're like, how? You didn't even know that you didn't even know.
That's true.
But it's cool to watch.
Yeah.
We probably wrote, I think we wrote, the count was 31 songs for Everbound.
Yeah.
And they cover a whole lot of ground. Like there are some really, you know, different sounds on this record. And I don't think, we weren't trying to ever just sort of redo what we've done before. We've been, you know, we try to be courageous as songwriters, and we try to be courageous as artists and lyricists to sort of spread our wings a bit and do some different things. If you got the same record from your favorite band over and over again, that's great for people, but there's a whole lot of people that discovered Washboard Union at Country Thunder and then went back to discover Shot of Glory, Maybe It's Moonshine, and feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are kind of joining the party midstream. And so it's great that I'm really proud that Everbound has covered the ground that it does. Like it's got some really different songs. It's got a couple songs on it I guarantee you have never heard from the Washboard Union before.
Nice.
Inspiring to us. All we ever wanted to be was good songwriters. And I think we get a little bit better at it every time. But you know, any songwriter will tell you it's not something where you all of a sudden just write, you know, magic and then it's a craft you develop and you keep getting better at, and that's all we've ever really wanted to do.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a big songwriter in Nashville and producer Jesse Frazier, and he, we were talking to him about how, if there was some sort of secret recipe and way of writing a song, everyone would have number ones and it would be really boring. So every writer, every artist has to progressively get better and learn new things. And I mean, that kind of goes in anything. Is the moment that you stop learning, I feel like that's when, kind of things come to a halt for you. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's one of the cool things about the genre of country music is you go back through the history of country music and it's always relied on change and a sound changing and different styles. And, you had your old crooners, and then you had your Nashville sound out of the 50s and 60s. And then you had the 70s Bakersfield sound where everything got stripped down again. And then it changed in the 80s and 90s. So it's always developing and always evolving, which is great. So we're fortunate that we're at a time when people are more accepting of different sounds. So now you can mix the traditional sound with the modern sounds, and people are totally comfortable with that.
Yeah. I love seeing, like, you look at, the groups that you guys are generally nominated in. So for group or duo of the year, and you look at 5 groups or duos and they all have different sounding music. And I think that's what makes our industry so cool.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So I have to ask, because every time you guys post something about the new album, I get so excited just to see what kind of jackets you guys are wearing. Where did the pink cloud jackets come from? I need one.
That was definitely something that was going out in a different direction for us, for sure. But I mean, hey, who doesn't love pink, right?
I love them. I want one.
It's funny that we just didn't want to do what you'd seen before. Everybody's seen this sort of standard country image. There wasn't going to be a truck, and it wasn't going to be shot on a farm, and it wasn't going to be, like, that stuff's great. And that's meaningful to a whole lot of artists. We wanted to kind of, and I think we've always done this, we kind of push the boundary a bit. Plus, we don't take ourselves all that damn seriously. So the cloud arrived in the mail after having bought them. Emma, who is our photographer on this record, is due all the credit for that. She found those jackets, and the pink ones were like, pink, really? And she, absolutely, you're gonna look fantastic. And so the jacket budget, you do. Thank you very much. Just kind of the album title lent itself to doing something really fun. And Everbound is interesting because that's the word we made for this album, because it needed to capture a spirit more than it needed to be a lyric from a song or a name of one of the songs or any of that. There just seemed to be this like really hopeful undercurrent that linked the songs we put on this record together. And so everything just kind of spun off that. And
I think a song that we need right now more than ever, and in the world, and for us as artists. And so it's just
what
like,
it
just feels like the stars are aligning, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Shannon, are you editing this as we're doing it? That's crafty.
I was like, who is
really
that?
Crafty.
I don't know who that is. Okay.
Yeah, on top of it.
I didn't touch anything, so I don't know that recording may pop back up again, but who knows? Well, I think that what you guys do, because you all look very dapper in your pink cloud jackets, and I think sometimes when you do stuff like that, it can look cheesy or whatever if it's not done in the right way. You guys always do that stuff in the right way. I feel like it's always, it stays true to who you guys are. You guys look great. It's funny, but it's also, it means something. There's meaning behind why you guys do it and why your photographer thinks that it should be done that way. And I think that's why I love talking to you guys about that stuff, because I always know there's some sort of underlying, point or a message from, just you 3 guys in pink cloud jackets.
Like a guy does, right? Like a guy does.
Is there more single artwork with more fancy coats?
There's some really fun stuff. We kind of crammed in a week worth of photo shoots into a couple days, and we were racing all over Nashville to do these while we were there. So we did all of this while we were recording. So 4 studios on the go. We wrote until 24 hours before the record. Like there's a song on the record that was written maybe 24 hours beforehand, and the version when we wrote it is the version that's on the record.
That's the demo version. Yeah, that's the demo version we cut.
Yeah,
That's amazing how you can do that.
Yeah, it was wild, and it's a song called "More Memories Than Wishes." It's the last song on the record before the acoustic of Country Thunder, and we literally wrote it 24 hours beforehand. But we were racing all over Nashville, 4 studios. So David's over here, Chris is over there, Aaron's here, and then just like constant text messages. Send Chris over here to do banjo. David's got to go over here and do a vocal. We got to in 2 hours, and then we bounced around the city doing that. But to your point, there are some really cool photos that haven't come out yet in that shoot. Yeah, it was really fun. And the puppets were joining us everywhere we went in Nashville too. So
I did get to meet the puppets finally in Nashville. It was very cool. They're quiet, but they're very polite and well dressed also.
I'm glad they were well behaved because they really acted up on occasion.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. But they were sitting quietly in the corner while everybody else had cocktails. But where are the puppets during this quarantine time?
They are staying with Chris.
Okay.
Aaron had to kick his puppet out of his house because it was causing too many problems.
Mm.
So we packed them up and sent them up to Chris, and he's actually taking care of them. You know,
I think
we actually joke.
Send you your puppet, David, so that when you sit on your porch and have breakfast, he can be with you.
I've got a little buddy, right?
I honestly didn't know I was taking them home from last time. They sit in a big road case, which looks like every other Washboard Union road case. Until I got to the border and they were like, "What's in your luggage?" And I'm like, equipment, music equipment. And they're like, "Sure." And then he showed me the picture. The box had been opened. And I'm like,
You're like,
yes, puppets as well. He said,
oh yeah, I forgot about those guys.
You? Like, you a puppet of yourself. I'm like, have a letter. Does that help?
It's amazing.
That's so funny.
I still wish I could be a fly on the wall watching you guys go through security with those because it just sounds like so much fun. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this and hanging out. It's always obviously nice to talk to you guys. Nicer to see you in person, which I would love to do, but this will do for now. And congrats on everything with the new album, Everbound. And I can't wait to just see fans' reactions to it and which song ends up being everyone's favorite, because I'm going to have to listen to it a few times and see which one is mine.
I'd love to know what your favorite is.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because we each have a different favorite song on the record. So I always make it fun.
I guess with 3 of you, it kind of, you all have your own tastes. So I'm excited to check it out and also play it on our radio station.